My family doesn't get together all that often, not in a big, all under one roof kind of way. So when my aunt called and said she'd found this beautiful rental house for a summer vacation, I was actually kind of excited. It's been years since we had this many of us in one place at the same time. The idea of waking up to morning coffee with my parents, cousins laughing out on the deck, kids running around barefoot, it all sounded sort of nostalgic, like the kind of thing you don't realize you'll miss until you're in the middle of it. My aunt really took the lead in organizing the whole thing. She knows the owner of the house, so she managed to get us a deal, apparently a pretty generous one too. She told everyone there were 6 bedrooms, which seemed perfect at the time. 1 for her and my uncle, 1 for my parents, 1 for my cousin and her husband, another for my other cousin and his wife, and a 5th for their kids, who are both under 10 and need a quiet space to sleep early. That left supposedly 1 final room for me and my boyfriend. It all felt really well thought out, honestly, like a puzzle that had come together just right. I remember picturing us all under the same roof, eating meals together, maybe playing board games in the evening, like we used to when we were kids. It felt nice, but, as it turns out, the puzzle wasn't quite complete. Now, here's where things took a bit of a turn. A few weeks after everything was booked, we were all talking through the logistics. What to bring, how to split up the groceries, that sort of thing. When my aunt casually mentioned that there had been a small mix-up. Nothing major, she said. Just a little mistake in the room count. Turns out, the house only has 5 bedrooms, not 6. At first, I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe one of the rooms had bunk beds or something we could make work. But then she explained it a little more clearly. Each bedroom was already spoken for. My aunt and uncle had 1. My parents had another. My cousin and her husband had the 3rd. The 4th was for my other cousin and his wife. And the 5th, that was going to the kids. So where does that leave me and my boyfriend? Apparently, the pull-out couch in the living room. I remember just sitting there for a second, a bit stunned. I had to ask, "Wait, you mean the couch? Like in the middle of the house?" She laughed it off like it wasn't a big deal, said it's a nice pull-out and that we'd be fine. But the more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable I felt. It wasn't even about being picky. It's just, that couch is in the living room, the heart of the house. There's no door, no privacy, no way to really unwind without someone walking through to grab a snack or start their day. We'd be smack in the middle of everything, morning to night. And the thing is, this wasn't just a solo trip. I wasn't alone. My boyfriend was coming too, and I didn't feel right about cramming him onto a couch for nearly a week. Having him wake up to kids running around or people making coffee 2 feet away. No space to put our bags. Nowhere to change without darting into the bathroom or asking someone to leave a room for a few minutes. It just felt off. It might have seemed like a small oversight to everyone else. But to me, it was the beginning of a bigger question. How much of myself was I supposed to give up just to keep the peace? The more I sat with the idea, the more it started to bother me. Not in an angry or dramatic way, just a slow, creeping discomfort that wouldn't go away. I kept trying to talk myself into it. It's only 6 nights, I thought. I'll be with family. It's not a big deal. But honestly, it was a big deal. I started walking through what that week would actually look like. The couch was in the living room, right in the middle of the house. No walls, no doors, just open space, which meant no real privacy. We'd be the first ones woken up every morning, probably before we were even ready to be awake. Someone making coffee, kids turning on the TV, people chatting at the table. And at night, forget staying up to talk or even lying in bed with the lights off. We'd have to wait for everyone to go to bed just to sleep in peace. Then there was the whole situation with our stuff. Where would we even keep our luggage? I didn't want to just park it in the living room and have my clothes out in the open, cluttering up a space everyone used. The thought of having to dig through my suitcase in front of half the family, or even just run to the bathroom every time I needed to change, made me feel awkward. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was kind of dehumanizing. And it wasn't just about me. I kept thinking about my boyfriend. This trip was supposed to be fun for both of us, but I didn't want him to feel like an outsider, or worse, like an afterthought. He deserves to have a space to relax, to change, to breathe, not be stuck on a couch while the rest of the house moves around him. I even thought about trying to store our things in my parents' room, But that didn't feel right either. They deserve their privacy. I didn't want to be tiptoeing in and out of their space, rushing to change clothes while they waited. That would just make all of us feel uncomfortable. No matter how I turned it over in my head, it just felt like I was being squeezed into a corner, expected to quietly accept it for the sake of family time. But isn't family supposed to care about how you feel? About whether or not you're comfortable? I wasn't trying to be high maintenance. I really wasn't. I just wanted a little space of my own. A room where I could close the door, breathe, and not have to feel like a guest in the middle of my own vacation. And honestly, I started to wonder why that was such a big ask. After turning it over in my head for a few days, I decided I needed to speak up. Not to cause drama, not to throw a wrench in this rare family getaway, but because I just couldn't shake the feeling that this setup was going to make me miserable. And truthfully, I didn't want to spend a week pretending I was fine when I wasn't. So I talked to my parents first. I told them, gently but clearly, that I really didn't feel comfortable sleeping on the couch. I explained everything: the lack of privacy, the noise, the awkwardness of changing clothes in a shared space, and the fact that my boyfriend would be in the exact same boat. I didn't feel like it was fair to either of us to spend 6 nights that way. But I wasn't just complaining. I offered a solution. I said, "Look, I still want to go. I want to spend time with everyone, be part of the trip, the meals, the outings. But I think the best thing, for me and for him, if we book a small Airbnb nearby, just for sleeping. We'll come to the main house during the day, join in for everything, and I'll still pay my full share for the rental. I'm not trying to skip out on any part of the trip. I just want a place to rest that feels like ours." I meant it too. I wasn't trying to isolate myself. I just needed to protect a little corner of comfort in what was shaping up to be a chaotic setup. And honestly, booking our own place didn't seem unreasonable to me. I wasn't asking anyone else to change their plans or give up a room. I just wanted a bed and a door that closed, and just in case that wasn't workable, I also said I'd be okay with not going at all only if there really wasn't another way. That wasn't my first choice, of course. But I figured if the only option was the couch, and I knew I'd be unhappy the entire time, maybe it was better to sit this one out. I thought I was being fair, reasonable, even. I wasn't demanding a room in the main house. I wasn't angry. I was just trying to make the trip work for everyone, including myself. But that's when things started to shift, and not in the way I hoped. I really thought my mom would understand. She knows I'm not the kind of person who makes a fuss over nothing. I don't throw tantrums or create drama, especially not over family. So when I explained everything to her, I expected, maybe not full agreement, but at least a little empathy. But that's not what I got. As soon as I mentioned the idea of booking a separate place, I saw her expression shift. It wasn't anger, exactly more like disappointment, layered with that quiet kind of guilt only a mom can dish out. She sighed, gave me that look, and said, "If you don't stay in the same house as the rest of us, you're going to ruin the trip." Just like that. It hit me hard, not because I thought she was right, but because of how quickly she turned it into something bigger than it needed to be. I wasn't refusing to come. I wasn't planning to disappear. I just wanted to sleep somewhere else. Literally just a bed in a nearby room. I'd still be there for breakfast, for beach days, for game nights, for everything. But to her, that didn't matter. It was the symbolism of it. Not staying under the same roof meant I wasn't with the family. I was separating myself, creating distance, and in her eyes, that meant I was spoiling something rare and special. I tried to explain again, calmly. I told her it wasn't personal, that I still planned to pay for my share of the house, even though I wouldn't be sleeping in it, that I'd be around all day, every day, that I wanted to be part of the experience, just not at the expense of my comfort and peace. But she wouldn't hear it. She kept circling back to the same point. "It's not the same if you're not there. It'll feel like you're avoiding us." She even hinted that the rest of the family might notice, or feel slighted, and that's when the guilt really started to settle in. Not because I believed I was doing anything wrong, but because it's hard not to second-guess yourself when your own mother says you're about to mess up something meaningful. I could feel myself shrinking a little, like maybe I was being selfish for wanting a door and a little bit of space. But at the same time, a part of me pushed back. Because isn't it okay to have boundaries? Isn't it okay to advocate for your own comfort without being labeled the problem? It felt like I was being forced into a false choice. Either go along with something that made me deeply uncomfortable, or be the one who ruins a family vacation. And honestly, that hurt more than I expected. So here I am now, stuck in this strange in-between space. I haven't made any grand announcements, haven't told my cousins or the rest of the family what I'm planning. Not yet anyway. It's just been me, quietly searching Airbnb listings in the area, seeing what's available nearby. Nothing fancy, just a small place with a clean bed and a door I can close at night. And you know what? I haven't even booked anything. Not because I changed my mind, but because I'm still sitting with the weight of that conversation with my mom. Her words keep echoing in my head. You'll ruin the trip if you're not under the same roof. It's hard not to let that kind of thing get to you. No matter how old you are, when your parents make you feel like the odd one out, it sticks. I keep wondering, am I really being unreasonable? Am I making this harder than it needs to be? But then I circle right back to the same feeling I had at the start. I just want to be comfortable. That's it. I want to enjoy this vacation, not dread every night of it. And it's not like I'm pulling away from the family. I still plan to be present. At every meal, every outing, every late night laugh around the fire pit. I want those moments. I want to make memories. But I also want to sleep in peace, to have a little privacy, to not feel like I'm waking up in the middle of a train station every morning with people bustling all around me. I haven't said anything yet, because I know how quickly it could turn into something bigger. Once the cousins find out, I'm sure there will be opinions. Some loud, some passive, aggressive, and I'm not ready for that right now. Not when I haven't even done anything yet. So for now, I'm keeping it quiet, watching, waiting, giving myself time to decide. Do I book the little place down the road and risk being labeled difficult? Or do I stay on that couch for 6 nights, gritting my teeth through every awkward moment just to keep the peace? I don't know yet, but I do know this. I'm not asking for much. Just a bed, a room, a bit of quiet, and I don't think that makes me selfish.